Folks, welcome back to the lab. It is project time. And here we have a RAYO number 92 with a beautiful matching globe. This thing is a monster. That's about, I don't know, 15 1/4 inches right there. Yeah, that's big. Yeah, this is our next project. So I got it was a lucky find during the last outing of the outdoor flea market here in my area of the state of New York. This is Cold Blast. And yeah, so here's our next project. This is a RAYO with a bad paint job. And, it's got fish eyes all over it. And fish eyes are when you put spray paint over something oily, something not clean. And I could just tell by that awful fake looking wet look on the glossiness of spray paint. And if this is RAYO's original paint, which I doubt it is, I'm very sorry to Pritchard Strong for that. Oh, that's weird. Yeah. So I haven't explored this thing or anything. I do know that the one big issue with it is this up here. The pull ring is non-existent, and it's not just something I can grab off another lantern. So I'm going to have to come up with something there. So, all right, let's get to this thing and take it apart and see what we're dealing with here. All right, so here is what we got. Oh, okay. That might actually come out easy, which is a concern I have for these very old lanterns, because I don't want to hurt them trying to get them out. Yeah, I thought it was going to come out there for a second. No, all right. You know what? I'm going to do that after I get glass and stuff out of it, because I'm going to jerk it when it comes flying out. So let's see here. Let's get a little bin for parts. All right, so parts. Brass filler cap. Nice big filler cap. Okay. There's a part. Let's get this beautiful globe out of here. Okay, that goes up. That's good. No cracks. That will clean up wonderfully, I'm sure. Yeah, we'll get this all cleaned up. Not a problem. Okay, I feel like I have dealt with this problem with another RAYO. It is the hinge under here getting rusty and wanting to hold in that lift lever there. So I'm gonna, it might be painted, might be just paint in there, but that everything comes out in a proper manner. All right, let's see what the deal is here. This is a pressure fit. Oh, I see. Globs of black paint, even on the inside. Okay. Maybe this thing was a display. Why would you paint over brass? Why? I think somebody picked at it with something too. Why? Okay, let's take a look inside. Holy smokes. All right. Any more in there? Hello. Well, ingenuity, right? And I see this must have been the last one. It looks like somebody trimmed the top, but it fell in. Hand ripped. Look at that. Wow. Been a long time since somebody needed a wick in here. Pretty neat. We'll save that for the weird wick collection. Now, folks, my apologies. My new phone mount here to take these videos helped me realize that the volume switches on the side of my phone, volume up and down, is record and not record for video. And I've known this for about a week, but I keep putting it in that mount, and every time I touch it to rearrange its position, it turns off on me. So I did get the crown off, and it is a mess. And I did see that there are about 3.5. So there's 2 complete. One that's about 75%, another one that's about 75%. So little bits of tops. Obviously, there was some kind of something going on, and these holes certainly look like this was dug at a bunch of times to get this off. People not knowing how to get it off. Now, I don't know what their motivation was, unless they wanted to do all that just to paint the underside of this thing with coats and drippy coats of high gloss, cheap black paint, and they even painted over the carbon. So we are gonna. Oh, there's even a hole. So it's gonna be interesting to try to bring this baby back to life. So my question for this is, and I'll insert a photograph right about here. I had asked somebody in the Lantern group to post a picture, if they could post a picture of a crown of a RAYO number 92. So I know what I'm dealing with here as far as replacing this. And it looks like, unless that hole is man-made, either somebody wanted to turn this into a lamp, or there was always a hole there, and whatever the disc is, that, as you can see from the photograph, I'll put the photograph up again. So it seems, it looks like here in this little circle here is a soldered on disc that has the pull ring in it. Why? I don't know. I think I'll know more when I get rid of this paint, because there looks like there's other little anomalies here. And, oh, wait a minute. Hold on. All right, I think I'm seeing tubes where the pull ring went in to the cap. I see there's a little hole right here and kind of a little raised area. Maybe that. All right, I'll know more once I get all this paint off and get it with a Dremel to see. And I know that wasn't there when I just pounded on it a little bit, because I wasn't really pounding all that heavy on those areas there. Yeah, I'm going to have to come up, and that hole looks off-center too, so maybe somebody's trying to make a lamp out of this. Either that, or this was scrounged from one that was a lamp. I don't know. And I had this issue with the RAYO wagon lamp, but it was much smaller. I should be able to, there we go. That didn't take anything. Great. Okay. Well, that's going to help a lot. All right. So that goes to the sink. Let's check the welds here, because other lanterns I've had with this configuration here, I've had an issue. There's some separation there, but I can't tell if that's a roll of metal or solder, and I'll be able to tell when the paint's off. Okay, so I'm going to go to the sink. I'm going to do the oven cleaner bit, and then I will let that sit for 15 minutes or so. All right, let's go do that. And I'm trying to think if there's any parts that I can work on. No, there's not. They all got paint on them. All right, so I'll be back from the kitchen sink in a little bit. Well, I thought, I found the one thing that I could work on. Get myself a little plate, and I'm going with Brasso, obviously. I was going to go for a harder compound, but I think that's a little harsh. And I've been trying to better my polish game. It's best not to go harsh if you're having a polish game issue. All right, let's see. Let's see what can happen here. I plop it in there with my finger because the RPMs of this Dremel, picking up a liquid here rather than a paste-like polish, would just make Brasso go flying around. So I kind of want this to soak some of this up. I mean, you know, I don't know if this is the right thing to do or not, but I feel like it couldn't hurt. So I'll do a little smear with my fingers. And then I'll hit it with the Dremel. But I gotta get this shit off my hands here first. Oh, we got a little spray came out. It's okay. Oh, yeah, I could feel it flying around the room. Okay, let's see how that is. Oh, that's as good as it needs to get. Okay, yeah, that is just fine. That's beautiful. So that will be here for when the rest of the lantern gets back. Well, holy smokes, folks. That was the easiest paint stripping job I have ever done on a lantern. I sprayed on the stuff, left it on there 15 minutes. Went out there and got some hot water building up, and I just ran the stuff under hot water, and 99% of it came off. I finished it with like an old sponge and soap and water, but amazing. I'm so happy for that. I mean, that just cut hours out of my project time here. That is wonderful. And this is in such great shape under that, and I don't think I need to go to the big wheel at all. And by the way, I did discover, if you look at that hole, and my theory was, I wonder if somebody electrified this. Well, look at that. There is an electrical cord hole. Somebody did electrify this lantern. This, we made, I think we got a lot of work to do on this after we do the rest of this thing. And that's where my years of training will come into play. So let's, oh, and by the way, yes, this is a brass burner dome, and it is pressed in, and I see it is got the little press marks, and I'm not going to undo it and take it out. I can work on it right where it sits. Not a problem. Good. All right, we got all these new 600 grit nylon bits. That'll be just great for what we got to do here. Nice and mild. And we will bring this polisher out to do that. And we'll polish this up too, and we'll get that. Okay, look, that's what they did. They pulled this back to put a cord down in it, because I could see here where they widen it there for the cord to come through there. Oh, man. Okay. It's all starting to make sense now. What's wrong with you people? Hopefully we can get that fixed up. I think we can. By we, I mean you and me, as we work on this together. This thing's in really amazing shape. And last patent date is 1912 on this. All right, I'm gonna do a little bit of work on this now, because I'm gonna start working on it. Double up on my glasses to see. See what's going on there. You see how they had this all bent up to stick a cord in there. Trying to bend this back, and I know that this burner itself could be brittle, because I mean black brass is quite brittle, and I commend them for that, for obviously respecting the lantern. Before we go back to nylon bits, by the way, I've never used brass wire wheels. I'm always using the stainless ones, and these just happen to be the only ones I can get my hands on at the store the other day, so I grabbed a set of them. They are a couple bucks more. I think it's like $5.87 for the stainless. I think these are like $8 something. They're a couple bucks more. So I want to see if I can get some shininess maybe out of the top here. Let's see. Now it looks a whole bunch better, doesn't it, folks? Okay. Good. I was curious about that, so I wanted to feed that curiosity, or at least, feed it. Feed it. Let's continue to work with the nylon bits. But like I said, we can completely ignore the the big grinder, I think, with this lantern. All right, so while this polish is still wet here on my little paper plate, I think we just try doing some polishing up in here for these things. Okay, and that'll even pop even more once I oil up this globe guard. So, back to nylon bits, and I did just get a whole boatload more 600 grit bits. So I am prepared here to make this lantern look beauteous. Well, folks, I do apologize once again for my camera screwing up. All you missed was me getting this bottom area here, and it's exciting. It is exciting. And what I was just explaining was one of the things I really love about these nylon bits is that it preserves the patina, the kind of patina that you want to keep. The kind of patina I want to keep, it does not destroy things. It doesn't make things really so much go away, except for like rust. And it it takes the stuff you don't want and leaves the stuff you want. I don't know how else to explain it, but I'm really enjoying the work that they do on lantern metal. And I can go up to a very strong grit. Well, this is like 100 grit or 80 or 50 or something like that. That's some tough stuff. That'll make a mess of your lantern. But I mean, if you got some really major rusticles on your lantern, you're not going to worry about this. I'm not going to worry about it. All right, so I did this part, and now I'm going to do this and work up around there. All right. Alright folks, before we get down to steel wooling, there is a problem to address. And I wasn't sure if it was cracked paint or any, structural. But there is an issue here. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, so, and I noticed that the air tubes are not straight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to level it with my grid system. And I'm going to put some solder on there. Or it may even just take me putting the torch to it and that solder kind of moving back into place. So either way, we're going to get that fixed up. Looks like there's a little crack over here too. So I think once we get it level and we got this figured out, and then we'll come over here and work on this other side. So I think the first thing I want to do is get that area cleaned up. Get some acetone in there. Acetone. And I'll clean over here while I have it out. Solders on this side look all right. It would appear that it just kind of was pushed over in one direction. Probably when somebody was turning the lamp on. Some silly person that electrified this thing. Great thing is, there's really, right now, there's no other, famous last words, but no other places that need major soldering or anything with this. This RAYO is in really nice shape. Yeah, I think we'll be ready for steel wooling after we do this. All right. We'll get this all fluxified. Now, all right. Let's see if I can do this in a way where you can see what's going on and I can. Let's see how bad we're off, first of all. Yeah, we're off pretty good. Okay. So, okay, what I'm going to do, come over here, loop that. Bring this up. Over. All right. See what's going on here? This is my bungee system. Then I can just kind of push this. That looks like the spot. There. That's what I wanted, right there. Okay. And it looks like it needs my grid here to hold it down, because it looks like it needs to be held down tight. Tight. Yeah, okay. So whatever that fluid is coming out of that crack is keeping it from... I'm going to have to lay this down to do this. It's going to hold great. I feel bad for adding a little extra blemish to this beautiful lantern. By blemish, I mean a little extra solder compared to what came via factory. But this is going to all be great. Great support for it. I was worried about the support, and I wasn't exactly sure why this thing was wobbling around, and it was because of that. All right, so there's flux everywhere. Gotta hit it with some acetone again. And I've talked a lot in past videos about issues with flash rust right around the spots that had flux on them. But I also did learn another thing watching a show on watching a YouTube channel called What About It? It's all about SpaceX and Starship and all that stuff. Great. A great show. It's my favorite show for getting my Starship updates. And they were talking about the launch mount and just why it rusts like almost before the ships come down in the ocean, that it's already started to rust. First with the salt air, of course, but metal that's been exposed to heat apparently oxidizes a lot quicker. So I learned that. Makes a lot of sense. Okay. Now, back to things. Okay, so yeah, you can see what the flux is just kind of left. Grossness, even though I got acetone over it. So maybe I need to kind of like scrub in the acetone. I don't know. But yeah, look at that. It looks like part of the factory part. Excellent. Oh man, that is so much more stable now. Wow. And yeah. The level's still better than it was. It came back around apparently when I can see why, because I don't know if you can see it, but the top of the fount flexes. So when I had this bend over to straighten it and level it, it was bending the fount here. And okay, well, that's okay. I'm cool. It's so much more stable now. It's great. So next thing, well, we got some steel woolen to do. We'll start doing that. And then we will attack the crown. All right. Let's start doing it. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll come back to that. That needs work before I can do any steel woolen to it. We have another solder joint needs fixing right here. See it? So we'll fix that up. Get out the trusty sandbag. Oh, that's perfect for it. Right there. Acetone's getting a lot of travel today because it has acetone. I'm going to try something. I'm going to try heating it before I add the flux. I've seen that on a couple videos. People say it works better. Hot surface. So I'm going to go with that. That's all I need. And you can see where the flux was. There. Flux is there to etch your metal so the solder sticks or bonds. We leave it, it'll continue to etch, and it'll continue to etch underneath my oil treatment, which is bad. Bad. Okay. Where were we? Oh, yes. Steel woolen. This metal already feels great. It feels like I've already done it with this quadruple zero steel wool. I want to make sure that I bend them all back so the crown sits correctly. So I see some little things here. I think I'm going to pound these flat, and if I need to make the room again, I will, but not the way they did. All right, so my question about this is, and I can't explain it, but I think that there used to be two holes here with little raised up tubes. Where is it? I went and grabbed one off a donor, by the way. That'll go on here if we get to that point. So I thought that the little piece that went on here was what was holding it, but this was actually solid. And they drilled a hole in it to make it a lamp. So I gotta see if I could bring those little indentations and those holes back to get that in. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, because even I don't, but I'm gonna see if I can bring those back, those little holes in. already see it. There, look at that. See it? This is excellent news. I'll be darned, it's gonna work. It's gonna work, folks. And since this is exhaust, I really have no major issue with there being a hole in there. Just don't want to have this out in the rain, that's all. All right, so now I can get something to ream that hole out better. There we go. I see there is a tear there, and I saw that when I was pounding this in earlier. It looks like we are going to have a pull tab. Excellent. Little tear there. All right. I didn't do that. That was there. But that should be more than enough meat for that pull tab to work. You're not going to sit here all day hitting the pull tab anyway. Okay. That's awesome. I've been thinking about that this whole restoration. So that should go right in there. It's gonna be a little tough for this thing. But it will be a pull tab. Okay, so let me work on the rest of this. Okay, so let me get the rest of this donor paint off here. Not a fan of it being so shiny. So maybe I will try to darken it up with some heat. What do you say, folks? Good. Let that cool for a sec. And then we'll put it on there and we'll see what it looks like. All right. Let's put our pull tab on. We have got a pull tab that moves even. And that's going to be more than enough for leverage. I am very happy with that. I'm very happy. That's my second jerry-rigged pull tab in like a week. Okay, so we are here on the floor in front of me. This is my box that holds all my soldering supplies for soldering things. All right, let's see what we got here. I need all hands on deck to figure this out. Since this is the half tab, I want to make sure I get a good bite. And this is the busted one right here. Soft tip hammer. And this little piggy. Now, okay, I can't quite tell if I have the edge of the guide hole or the remaining bit of tab. I don't know. But we got a good bite on 3 tabs. All right, let's. Now that works fine. It is doing its job. Now I want to lube up that sliding chimney there. Oops. Okay, so I will address that chimney right before assembly. So why don't we now treat. While we're here, all right, we are going to treat now. This is all set. All right, now we're going to treat with linseed oil. Nice fresh brush. So again, no, it's not again if this is your first time here, but if you're here a lot, you'll know that I paint this on because I want to make sure I get in all the little nooks and crannies and cracks and things with the linseed oil. very vulnerable spot are these wires. Any of these wires, like the bail, lift lever, globe guard, lift mechanism, just because they have a lot of surface area, and I have machined the heck out of them to make them look nice, to get the rust and oxidation off them. So they are very vulnerable. And I think because it's a different type of steel, that is a lot more vulnerable. All right, let's, wow, this lantern is so clean that you can almost not even tell where the oil's going, at least on these parts. Amazing, amazing the shape this thing's in. And I feel so much better about how the shape this thing is in, knowing that I got that crown completed enough to look acceptable. Now, we haven't really looked at it assembled yet to think if it's acceptable, but I think it's acceptable because it is the original crown. So I suppose I could have patched that hole. That would have been quite a lot of work for not much of a guarantee that it's really gonna not look crappy, because it would have to be a nice fresh piece of tin and it would look all shiny. Oh yeah, all right. So, I'm just looking at the wear on this mechanism here. Beautiful. Nice new wick. Amazing wick that we pulled out of here, folks. Ah, look at this. Okay, let me go get the globe that I cleaned earlier. I'm going to use the thumb ring. Yeah. Oh. I realized I didn't put a part on. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Forgot a part. Okay, now this will sit right. Okay. Look at that. Beautiful. All right, let's come down and take a look. Look at that. Okay. RAYO. Number 92. Cold Blast. Oh, got fingerprints on it. Gosh darn it. But this is a beauty. Yeah, I got to get those fingerprints off there before I do my glamour shot for the end of the video. Look at that. Full ring. Original crown. I'm proud of that. And it's all level and stuff. All right. Great. Hey, folks. 1912 patent date. This was a lot of fun. I just couldn't wait. I picked up a lot of really nice lanterns this week, and I didn't know which one to start. And I'm like, the RAYO, Rochester, Pritchard Strong. Gotta do it. All right, folks. Thank you so much for sticking around for this. I hope you learned something. I learned a lot. Learned a lot of things, and I thank you for taking this journey with me. And until next time, don't you go change it. Get wild.